and welcome back to another episode of Tess Talks Entirely Too Much, where I, your host Tess, will talk entirely too much. If you're watching a video, this is Frank. Frank is my emotional support co-host. He's here to make sure that I don't go completely off my rocker. And if you stick around for a little bit, you'll probably see that I need someone to make sure that I don't go completely off my rocker. So this week's episode is one that I've been wanting to do from the very beginning. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast as a whole, and that is on the subject of music. Now, music is very influential in the world. Obviously, it is a huge part of most humans' everyday lives. If you don't like music, you're weird. I'm sorry, but you're weird. And I don't know if we can be friends. I'm really easy to get along with, but if you don't like music, there's something wrong with you. Just saying, you know, you may need some help, but we won't get too stuck on that. So, music is amazing in so many ways. It connects to your mental state, it connects to your emotions, it gets stuck in your head. You have genres that you love, you have genres that you hate, you have genres that feel like you have genres that, make you want to punch a hole in the wall because it just irks your brain so bad and you just generally loathe it. It is so powerful because it moves in memories and emotions and feelings. And, they use music in patients with Alzheimer's and dementia, and they can remember things that they couldn't remember before. People with those types of diseases, they are able to play instruments, and even if they don't have the coordination and the dexterity to do these things, they can still go and play the piano or the guitar or the drums or whatever, because music surpasses so much. And the reason it surpasses so much is because it isn't just stored in our brains like your typical everyday memory. It is stored with feelings and with emotions and with specific moments in time. I can think back throughout my life and I remember it being, a rainy Sunday morning, and the song, I think it was Smooth by Santana, was playing on the radio, and I had walked into the bathroom and someone had just taken a shower, and that song was playing on the radio in the bathroom. And I remember the bathroom like being very warm from whoever had just taken a shower and humid. And it was, for me, it was hard to breathe because I went from a very air conditioned hallway into a very hot, humid bathroom. I remember back in the early 90s, where I live, we experienced a really bad flood. And the day that the flood started, I remember being in town and they were talking about it on the radio, and they played the song Look Into My Father's Eyes. And now every time I hear that song, I automatically think of being in Kmart parking lot and freaking out because of the weather. And it's tied to those things. There are so many songs that are tied to heartache and loss in my teenage years, and love songs that I've carried with me throughout life, and just so many things. Music is just, it is so powerful. And for me personally, music isn't just instruments, it's not just lyrics, it's not just singing along to whatever's on the radio. For me, music is life support. It is literally one of the things that keeps me alive. It is what has saved me from the depths of my PTSD, from my panic attacks, from the days that I didn't know how in the world I was going to make it through. It has literally been a lifeline that has kept me tethered to Earth whenever I wanted to hit the exit button. I have several other reasons why I have stayed when I have wanted to end everything, but music is one of the biggest ones. It's like my nieces and nephews and the music. Those are the two big things. Even last month, with how bad things were last month, one of the biggest things that kept me was knowing that I was going to get to go see Evanescence. And I stayed so that I could go and see Evanescence. And by the time I got to go see Evanescence, I was through the thick of it and I was good. So for me, music is literally life giving. But what I really want to talk about is the music that did save me, because a lot of people think that the music that I listen to is just a bunch of scary, screamy shit and it doesn't have any meaning. They don't understand how it could help me. They don't get why it impacts me. They don't understand why. They just don't get it. And it's not that I owe anybody an explanation, because I don't owe anyone an explanation, but I want to give people the opportunity to see inside my mind and see inside me and the way that I think and the way that I feel and the way that I function. And I feel like music is the best way to do that. If I share a song on my Instagram stories, it's not just because I like the song. There's a meaning behind it. There's a reason why I pick those specific lyrics. Unless if it's a Friday and I play Thank God It's Friday by Ice Nine Kills, that's just for fun. But, you know, a lot of the other songs that I share, it's because they got me through something, or because they're speaking to something that I'm currently going through, currently dealing with. It's because they are an expression of what my mind can't put into words. And that's kind of the starting point here, is hearing a song that made me feel seen for the very first time during my PTSD journey. So that song there's two songs actually. And I will be like, I'm kind of double screened here. So I will be looking away from the camera so I can read the stuff. So bear with me while I do that, because I'm going to be reading lyrics. So the first song was Voices in My Head by Falling in Reverse. And Falling in Reverse, I know, very controversial to some people. Ronnie Radke is a very controversial person. I absolutely get that. Absolutely agree with that. He can be a lot. I love Ronnie Radke though. I absolutely love him. I think that he is amazing. He is one of the most talented singers I've ever heard. His vocal range is like next to none. He is amazing. And if you listen to some of the songs that I'm going to talk about today, and then you go and listen to, like, oh shoot, Last Resort Reimagined, you will be like, how in the hell is this the same person? Like, how? It doesn't make any sense. But it is. And it's because he's that talented. And I absolutely love him. So I first heard Voices in My Head in February of 2025. And I was really just coming to terms with my PTSD and but trying to understand it, trying to begin to heal from it, trying to work through it, trying to just make it make sense. I was feeling all of the things, I was having all of the panic attacks. I couldn't put into words how I felt. But when I heard this song, it was literally like, how in the world did this guy, this random guy, get inside of my head and write exactly everything that I am feeling and everything that I'm thinking and everything that I'm experiencing? I could not understand, but it made me feel seen. It made me feel validated. It made me feel like I wasn't alone. And I just, I fell into it and I let these songs begin to carry me through my healing journey and bring me through some of these really, really, really hard seasons of life. So, some of the lyrics from Voices in My Head. The voices in my head keep on telling me to pray because I'm spinning like a carousel, circling the drain. Hit the bottom of the bottle. I don't want to feel the pain, but that is all I got for now. I don't want to talk about it. The voices in my head keep on begging me to stay. If I pull the trigger now, then the demons go away. And I know my time is coming, so there ain't no time to waste. So that is all I got for now. I don't want to talk about it. And I have to be careful at how much I share because of copyright and fair use and all that stuff, which is bullshit. But like, that is the first part of the first verse of the song. And I can't explain how the voices in my head keep on begging me to stay. If I pull the trigger now, then the demons go away. That felt so personal because in my mind, it's like it was the voices in my head were, they were saying like, no, you have to stay, you have to stay, you have to stay, you have to fight through this. But then I knew that if I did certain things, then everything would stop. All of the pain would stop. All of the panic would stop. All of the fear would stop. Everything would just stop. And so to have someone say that, actually say that, it made me feel like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. Like I'm not insane. I'm legitimately not insane. Uh let's see here. The chorus says, the voices in my head keep on telling me I'm gonna die. And I don't want to talk about the drama. I'm traumatized. They're telling me I'm fine, but we both know that's a fucking lie. I'm losing my mind, but I don't want to talk about it. And that's another thing. The voices in my head, they were telling me that I was going to die. Everything was going to kill me. Everything, every single day, something was going to kill me. I was terrified that I was going to die. And even though I was terrified that something else was going to kill me, you know, in the back of my head, it was like, if I just do it myself, then nothing else can do it first, like you see in high school kids, they hear a rumor that they're like their boyfriend is going to break up with them. And so they break up with their boyfriend before they can get dumped. So it doesn't hurt as much. That's probably a bad example, but that's what pops in my head. So that's kind of where I was at. And then it says the voices in my head keep on telling me I'm cursed, I'm paranoid, I don't want to make it any worse. We're all going to die, but first things first, I'm going to take the world with me when they throw me in the dirt. It's like, damn straight I am. Like, if it's going to kill me, I'm going to take you down with me. I'm not going down in this alone. But that song is such a good song. And all of these songs are going to be linked. I have a playlist that is going to be available in the show notes that have all of these songs. It is like, it has the same title as this episode, The Songs That Saved Me. There are a lot of songs, and these are just a few like handpicked ones off of that playlist that really that I reverted to in some of my worst moments. So if you want to actually listen to these songs, you can click on that playlist and it'll open up the Spotify playlist, my Spotify playlist, and it'll be there. And then, feel free to listen to some of the others if you feel so inclined, because there's a lot of them and they all impacted me in one way or another. So the next song we're going to talk about is Popular Monster, again by Falling in Reverse. This is another one. And this one I kind of struggled with a little bit because the chorus says, because I'm about to break down, I'm searching for a way out. I'm a liar. I'm a cheater. I'm a non-believer. I'm a popular monster. I break down, falling into love now with falling apart. I'm a popular monster. So I don't feel like I'm a liar or a cheater, and I'm not a non-believer. But what gets me with this song is the verses. The verses of this song. I battle with depression, but the question still remains, is this post-traumatic stressing or am I suppressing rage? And my doctor tries to tell me that I'm going through a phase. Yeah, it's not a fucking phase. I just want to feel okay. And I just want to say my doctor never told me that I was going through a phase. And I'm so thankful for that. He took my mental health very, very seriously. And he mad props to him for never writing me off on what I was going through mentally. So shout out to you for doing that. I think I'm going nowhere like a rat trapped in a maze. Every wall that I knock down is just a wall that I replace. I'm in a race against myself. I try to keep a steady pace. How the fuck will I escape if I never close my case? Oh my God, I keep on stressing. Every second that I waste is another second sooner to a blessing I won't take. And my therapist will tell me that I'm going through a stage. Yeah, it's not a fucking stage. I just want to feel okay. My therapist never said that I was going through a stage. She has always taken me very seriously. Shout out to you for taking me very seriously. But those are kind of the things that I was feeling, going through PTSD and trying to heal from that and trying to come back from that, just what is this and how am I going to get through this? And, will I survive this? Yeah, it says I need to change a couple things because something is missing. And what if I were to lie, tell you everything was fine every single fucking day? I get closer to the grave. I am terrified. That was my life. That was it. And what if I were to lie and tell you everything was fine every single fucking day? I get closer to the grave. I am terrified. That was every minute of every day for almost 2 years. I was terrified. And it felt like every single day was just another step towards my end. I didn't realize that it was the step towards every day was a step towards my beginning, but my brain couldn't conceptualize that. It couldn't accept that. It couldn't grasp onto that concept. It was, I was living in a constant state of hyper panic and that, in this thought that like my body was going to kill me. My body was it was just going to kill me. And that was that. Like nothing I did, nothing I said would stop it. Like it was going to kill me. And that was that. And I was just waiting for it. Then it goes on to say, I fell asleep at the wheel again, crashed my car just to feel again. It obliterates me, disintegrates me, annihilates me. And that I really resonated with as well. Not because I crashed my car to feel something, but what I would have given to do something that drastic to feel something other than what I was feeling, because all that I felt was fear and panic. Everything else was numb. All I wanted to do was to feel something, and I didn't know what to do to feel that. There were times whenever I would be in the car with someone and I would think, like, God, if we just crashed right now, like if we just like swerved off the road right now and like ended up in the hospital, like I could feel something. I could feel physical pain. I could feel worry for myself outside of what's going on in my head. I could feel something. And, you know, that's not a healthy place to be. And I couldn't admit that out loud, not then, but I didn't have to because Ronnie Radke did it for me. And just, I don't even know. That's just an amazing song. Such an amazing song. Now we're going to move on to a song called Dark Bloom by We Came as Romans featuring Brand of Sacrifice. This song is my life anthem. Like if my life had an intro song, this would be my intro song. And it is, I don't even know how to begin to explain this song because it is heavy, it is creepy, it is dark, but it is like, I don't even know. The lyrics, you just gotta, and let me say real quick with this one and with several others, especially the last one that I'm specifically going to talk about. Um, if you do go and listen to these songs, pull up the lyrics on Spotify. The lyrics are available, so you just got to scroll down, pull up the lyrics, and read along with the lyrics if you don't understand what they're saying. I don't understand what these songs are saying 90% of the time. It's an audio processing, like, I've always been that way. I am the queen of misheard lyrics, as cliche as it is. I still think that the song says "Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza" instead of Tiny Dancer. The but I get song lyrics mixed up all the time, you know, and especially with the screaming, it's hard to understand what they're saying anyways. But if you read the lyrics along with the song, then you'll understand what they're saying and you'll see that it is so much more than just a bunch of screaming nonsense. They're actually saying something. Thankfully this one has just like normal singing and screaming. Um but the screaming is what like drew me in and like made my heart beat again. um yeah. So this one starts off by saying, I won't pretend that I can see the end. The light may fade, but I won't wither away. I am dark bloom. And this song I listened to so many times, and it took forever for it to actually hit me. But this is a very short song, so I'm just going to read all of the lyrics. I won't pretend that I can see the end. The light may fade, but I won't wither away. I am dark bloom. Everything looks the same. I know it all too well. Am I numb and afraid of looking at myself? Day or night, I'm fighting the feelings I hide behind. If it all comes undone, we'll black out the sun. I will find my own light that's buried inside me. I won't pretend that I can see the end. The light may fade, but I won't wither away. I won't pretend that I can see the end. The light may fade, but I won't wither away. Every choice that I make, the seeds that I sow, I'm faced with my pain like a fork in the road, die or grow. When they black out the sun, I will find my own light that's buried inside me. And then it goes back into the chorus, I won't pretend that I can't see the end. So This song specifically, it wasn't until I really heard, like really, really, really heard the Die or Grow. And it was probably the middle of summer last year whenever it finally clicked. Like, die or grow, die or grow, die or grow. And I just latched onto that. It was one of the first things that gave me like some type of hope, some type of reason. And then I really listened to the song and I did pull up the lyrics and I did like, gush over everything. And basically this song is saying, you know, life is going to get you down. You're going to get in some dark places, but it's what you choose to do in that darkness. It's what you choose. Are you going to choose to let the darkness kill you, or are you going to let yourself grow where you've been planted? And it's called dark bloom because there's a type of flower that only blooms in the moonlight. It doesn't bloom in the sun. It blooms in the middle of the night when it's the darkest. And how are you going to are you going to let yourself die in the darkness, or are you going to be one of those flowers that only blooms in the middle of the night where no one can see it, where no one knows that it's there? But are you going to die or are you going to grow? And this has like that those three simple words, die or grow, have inspired so much in me, so much life in me, and has given me the oomph that I need to live in the darkness, live through the darkness, you know, pick it up and carry it with me and, not let it control me anymore, not let it direct me anymore. Like, yes, I have taken it on. I have like worn it like, you know, like a cape. I find comfort in my darkness. I love the darker side of me. I love who it has turned me into. I love that it has given me confidence and fierceness and boldness, and it has opened my eyes to so many things. But that's because I chose to grow in it and I didn't let it kill me. It also has inspired a like probably another cliche tattoo idea, but it's going to be like the best tattoo that I've ever gotten. And I cannot wait until I can afford to go get it because it is going to be amazing. All of my tattoos are amazing, but whatever. So that one's just, yeah, that one's really, really, really good. The next one is called Necessary Evil by Memphis Mayfire. Memphis Mayfire is such a good band. All of these bands are phenomenal, but Memphis Mayfire is such a good band. Oh my goodness, so good. This song, it's as a whole, it's not really that impactful, but there's one line that, again, a very short line that was like, okay, Tess, what are you going to do here? But I really love the opening. It says, back full of thorns and a bed full of roses, take the pleasure with the pain, double doses. And it's like, I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, oh my gosh. The part that got me was from the second verse. Starts off, says, control is an illusion, get a grip, and then you lose it. And then it says, you can die from doom and gloom in, or embrace the grave and learn to use it. And it was that line, embrace the grave and learn to use it, that really, that was like the tipping point for me on top of the die or grow from Dark Bloom, embrace the grave and learn to use it, was like, you know what? I can, like, I can embrace it. I can learn to use it. I can use it for everything that I want to use it for. I can use it to be the goth baddie that I want to be. I can use it to be the confident person that I want to be. I can use it to make me into whoever I want to be. And that is precisely what I did. And it wasn't until hearing these songs and hearing these lyrics that it did that for me. And these are some of the songs that, you know, shaped me and molded me and helped me become this person. And I say it all of the time, and it's probably to the point where like it's getting old for people to hear me say it. But it's like, I am the person that I always wanted to be. I love myself now more than I ever have before. And it's because of everything that I went through. It's because of my trauma. It's because of the dark place that it sent me to. And it's because I chose to embrace that darkness and let it be a part of me instead of fighting it and fighting against it. Because, like I've said in previous episodes, I've always been a dark soul. I've always, always had that in me. And I've I fought it so hard for so long. I thought love and light was the best way to be, and the darker part of you is not good. The darker part of you is bad. It's evil. It's not good. Um, but I'm not evil. I'm not bad. I'm not like, once you start to get to know me, you'll see that I'm just a little weirdo. Like, I'm a little weirdo. I am like, I thrive on kindness and compassion. My heart beats for helping people. I I'm just I just express myself differently than other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel things deeply. I look at things differently. I experience things differently. I go through things, and, you know, my mind is just a very different atmosphere than other people's. And I think that's a good thing. I really do. I think that that's a really good thing because I don't want to be like everybody else. I never have. I don't want to think the same way that other people think. I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else does. I want to have my own thoughts. I want to have my own opinions. I want to have my own beliefs. I want to have my own morals. And I want to have my own, I want my heart to guide me and not somebody else's. I don't want to do the things that I'm told I have to do just because everybody else does them. I don't want to be told that I have to be a certain way just because that's what's socially acceptable, accepted by society. I'm I was born to be different, and I'm trying to stay true to that and stay true to myself and be the little weirdo that I am. And I think I do a damn good job at it. So that was Necessary Evil by Memphis Mayfire. Now, this next song that we're going to talk about is, again, Falling in Reverse. Falling in Reverse really, really had a grip on me. This one, not so much the lyrics of it that really stood out to me, but just the heaviness and the chaos that it has. Because, I mean, it starts off just immediate, like within the first second, Ronnie Radke is screaming. And it's like punch to the face, uh, major like hit after hit after hit. And then he goes through his spiel and everything. But then Tech Nine comes in and does like a crazy rap verse. And then Alex the Terrible from Slaughter to Prevail comes in and does like these deathcore growly screams that are just, you know, honestly kind of terrifying. But yeah, um, the song does start out saying, "Once upon a time, everything was all right. I used to feel safe, not a worry in sight. Then I grew up, quickly realized the world is a fucked up place sometimes." That makes sense. Like, totally agree with that. Death is at your door, reaching in from the other side. It's time to cut the cord, hanging on like a parasite. And, I love the parasite analogy. There's a lot of songs that use it, but I love it. I absolutely love it. For me, you know, it's something that it's something that I deal with a lot in having, like these thoughts that are like the brain eating amoeba. Is that the word? Is it is it a brain eating amoeba? I'm gonna look that up. Pause, please, while I look this up. Yeah, I was right. It's a brain eating amoeba. It's a very rare parasite in the brain that, yeah, fun fact. So, yeah, I really love that analogy. I think it's really good. And, those thoughts, like those little parasites, it can be thinking about someone, it could be thinking about something, it could be thinking about a situation, it could be holding on to a memory or a possibility or whatever. Like those things can grip on and invade your brain and, basically rot your brain if you let them. So you have to like take control, cut out the parasite, all that stuff. There's another part. I don't want to die, but I'm not going to live in a place so cold in a world like this. Crucify me. It's blasphemy. Throw me in the fire. Let me burn for eternity. And again, I've struggled with this one. Ronnie Radke is very openly like anti religious. Um, there's a lot of like symbolism in his music videos with that and everything. Pretty much every single one of his music videos has something that portrays that. And as someone who does believe in God and everything, um, I don't love that, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna not listen to his music just because he has a different viewpoint than I do. Like because as a whole, these songs they've been so impactful. But this song specifically it was my panic attack song for almost 2 years. This was the song that if I started having a panic attack, this was the song that had to be played. And it is the one that helped pull me out of I don't even know how many panic attacks. It got to the point where if I was at home or not even at home, if I was anywhere and my husband was with me and I started to feel anxious or like I was going to panic, he could tell just by the way that like my body language changed, by the way that my posture changed, by the way that I was breathing. I would, like a lot of times like I'll kind of shake my hands to try to like shake off the anxiety and the panic. So if there was anything like that, he would immediately go to my Spotify and go to my playlist and start playing this song. Um, Last year, I had to go to the emergency room because I was having a panic attack and couldn't stop it and was convinced that I was dying and like I couldn't, like, I wasn't going to be able to breathe and like, all that stuff. I was hyperventilating. So I was like, I'm actively dying. I can't breathe. What the hell? I need to go to the hospital. I didn't want to have to go to the hospital because the hospital is why I had PTSD in the first place and what caused the panic attack in the first place. But I needed help. So I went to the emergency room and they gave me Ativan and all that good stuff. But while they were drawing blood and putting in the IV, like I had to have this specific song playing to keep me from like absolutely losing it. I I mean, I was losing it, but it was the only thing that was kind of sort of keeping me present and I wasn't like in a whole other world inside my head. Like it kept me it's what kept me more grounded, I guess you could say. And I remember like my mom was with me and I was like, Mom, I'm sorry. This song is, you're going to hate this song. You're absolutely going to hate this song. And, she was like, I don't care. Just play it. And I apologized to the nurses. I was like, I'm sorry. It drops the F bomb. It says a lot of stuff. It's screamy. I'm sorry. And they were like, just play it, whatever you need to do, just play it. So I played it and it was like, nobody said anything. Nobody batted an eye. I think the next day I asked my mom, I was like, so what do you think of the song that I played? And she was like, I don't like it. I was like, didn't think so. But, you know, and it's called Ronald by Falling in Reverse, in case I didn't say that. So, yeah, listen to that one if you want to know what my panic attack song is because if I feel like I'm going to panic, I still go straight to that song because it's something about it. The chaos of it. Okay. The sounds and the screaming and the roughness and the heaviness of it, it is an outer representation of what's going on internally in my mind whenever I listen to it and whenever I'm panicking. So to have a way to experience it outside of my body instead of inside of my body, that's why it helps me so much. That's one reason why a lot of these songs are so impactful to me and why, I love the heavy screamo, new metal type of music is because it is an outer expression, an outer representation of what is going on inside my mind and inside my heart and everything. It isn't just, it isn't just scary, screamy music. It means something to me. It says something to me. It helps me get through these hard moments. It helps me get through the panic attacks. It helps me get through the spirals. It helps me, you know, come back down to earth whenever I am absolutely gone in my head. It just keeps me where I need to be. It helps me breathe. It helps me think. It helps me feel. It helps me process. It does all of the things. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And to kind of backtrack, I remember after after the hospital, after the PTSD and everything, before I started doing EMDR therapy, I was doing talk therapy and it was helping, but it wasn't really doing anything to help with the PTSD itself. I was just talking about a bunch of shit. But I heard a song that wasn't screamo, but it was EMD music or EDM, electronic dance music. And I it it made me feel something for the first time in months. It made me feel something. It made me feel it just made me feel. And even though I haven't like hung on to that kind of music, I remember that. I remember like somehow or another, I don't even know how I ended up finding that genre of music, how it came up on my Spotify, but it let me feel something. And I remember the song If I Lose Myself by One Republic. They have like a mashup with one of these EDM artists and they like it makes it more electronic and whatnot. And like I would play that song on repeat. Like I would put my earbuds in and I played that song on repeat over and 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 over again. And I would play it specifically at night because that's whenever my anxiety and my panic attacks would be the worst, would be at night. And I would just listen to it so many times over and over and over again. And it just, it took my brain off of everything that I was feeling and everything that I was thinking. And it took me out of the panic and the anxiety. And then as soon as I would stop listening, everything would come back. And, it wasn't until I started listening to this heavier music. Now, pretty much the only way that I can sleep is if I'm playing my scary, screamy music. Um, and I typically play it all night long, unless if it's keeping my husband awake and he has to turn it off. And most of the time, if he has to turn it off, I wake up and have a hard time getting back to sleep afterwards. But he doesn't know that. He's going to know that now. Sorry. But yeah, I try to keep the volume at a decent level so that it's not too loud so that he can sleep through it. But sometimes, yeah. And I can't sleep with my earbuds in because then I won't hear my Dexcom go off if my blood sugar goes too high or too low. So I have to listen to it on the talking robot. And yeah, um, yeah, but it's my lullaby. It is my lullaby. I went from listening to murder podcasts to scary, screamy music. And I jokingly call it scary, screaming music to describe it to people who don't listen to it like that, who think that's what it is. It's like my mom and sister. That's what I call it. It's like that's my scary, screaming music. If my sister's kids want to ride in my car with me or anything, I always tell my sister, like, I'm not gonna listen to like I won't play the scary, screaming music for them. We won't listen to that, and then I'll turn on, like Happy by Pharrell or something, and we'll just like dance around and, be silly in the car because that's what cool ants do, right? Like, you got to have fun with it. I may not want kids of my own, but my nieces and nephews, they are my world. They are absolutely my world. And like I said at the beginning, they are one of my reasons for staying. I have 10 nieces and nephews in total, and I would be lost without them. They are my everything. I I don't know what I would do if I wasn't an aunt. They make my world complete. And I as much like even though they're my reasons for staying alive, like I would jump in front of a bus for them. I would take a bullet for them. I would do whatever I had to do for them. Like I would lay down my life for them if it meant that they were safe. And if I've gone through everything that I've gone through, if I've had to face my darkness the way that I've had to face it, if I've had to embrace it the way that I've had to embrace it, so that they never have to experience the things that I've experienced, then I'm glad that I could be the one that took it for them so that they wouldn't have to. That is how much I love them. And I that is one thing, like at the end of my life, 100 years from now, I want people to remember how much I loved my nieces and nephews and how much they meant to me. That is the most important thing. Like, they are my everything. But I'm getting sidetracked. So, um, a few honorable mentions for songs here. Dial Tone by Catch Your Breath. That's a really good one. Dying on the Inside by Catch Your Breath. That's a really, really good one. Deadly by Catch Your Breath. Black Hole by Architects. Seeing Red by Architects. Elegy by Architects. Misery by Memphis Mayfire. Paralyzed by Memphis Mayfire. Somebody by Memphis Mayfire. Numb by Sleep Theory. Throne by Bring Me the Horizon. Help by Papa Roach. Black Hole by We Came as Romans. Daggers by We Came as Romans. Manic by Wage War, A Work of Art by Ice Nine Kills, and Miracle by A Day to Remember. Those are all just really, really good ones. So, yeah, like I said, this playlist, it's 3 hours and 44 minutes long. So there's a lot of songs on here. Um, this playlist is it's literally titled The Songs That Saved Me. I doubt that you'll be able to read that, but yeah, it will be linked in the show notes. And if you are so inclined to listen, you're more than welcome to. That's why I'm going to put it there. Make sure you pull up the lyrics if you do this so you can read along and actually understand what they're saying, because otherwise you might be like me and might not be able to understand what anyone is saying ever and have to have people repeat things to you because your audio processing capacity is like, this. Um, Maybe these ADHD meds will help with that. I'm on ADHD medication now, by the way. And I don't know how that's going to make this episode turn out, because today is the first day that I've taken the meds and my brain feels weird. Like, it feels good, but it feels weird all at the same time. And I also feel like my picture is just really funny looking today. So I'm sorry if everything is kind of off. But yeah, um, music has saved my life more times than I can count. Music is more to me than just music. It is my life support. It is what keeps me going. You know, I'm recording this on Sunday, July 26th. Tomorrow, on the 27th, I'm going and I'm seeing From Ashes to New with one of my friends. I've never really listened to From Ashes to New, but it's one of her favorite bands. So we're going to go see it and it's going to be great. And I'm so excited because it's another concert, and being able to be in the crowd and be part of a concert. Like, let's go. So in next week's episode, I will let you know how that concert was and all of that stuff. But yeah, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and yeah, turn on notifications so that you don't miss an episode. You're more than welcome to follow me on Instagram. My handle will be in the show notes as well as the playlist. You can also donate to the podcast at buymeacoffee.com/blindcrimepod. I think that's the link. If not, you can just click on where it is because it's there for you to click on. Frank, do you have anything to add this week? All right, I think Frank is good. He's pretty stoic and silent, but I'm the one that has to do all the talking, right? So if you're interested in what I listen to now, check out my Instagram because I'm always sharing songs in my stories. My stories are a fun place to be. I promise. They're a very fun place to be. So yeah, I think that's all I have for this week. And maybe by next week, I'll be adjusted to this medication a little bit and my brain won't be so, but thank you guys so much for listening. And yeah, I guess until next week, enjoy the peace and quiet. And I will see you guys in the next one.